Imagine discovering that the person you love and trust the most has not only been lying to you but has forever changed your life with a secret so dark it's hard to fathom. This is the story of Ava Gardner-Shipp, a betrayal that shattered trust, exposed hidden lies, and revealed the unimaginable. In 1988, Ava stood beside her husband, Reverend Bernard L. Shipp, exchanging vows of love and devotion. He was a minister, a figure of respect in their community, a man of faith, or so she believed. But 2 years into their marriage, everything changed. Bernard's health began to fail, and with it, the facade he had carefully built began to crumble. He confessed he had contracted AIDS, but the story behind his diagnosis was far more devastating. Ava learned that the man she thought she knew had been living a life of secrecy, engaging in relationships she never imagined, exposing her to a reality she couldn't escape. And then came the ultimate betrayal. Bernard admitted he had knowingly infected Ava, fearing his illness would leave him to die alone. What Ava did next would shock everyone. The year was 1988. In a quaint church in the heart of city-state, Ava Gardner-Shipp married Reverend Bernard L. Shipp, the man she believed was her soulmate. Friends and family gathered to witness their union, a celebration of love wrapped in faith. The couple, both deeply devoted to their spiritual beliefs, seemed destined to lead a life of shared purpose and harmony. Bernard, a charismatic minister, was adored by his congregation. His sermons inspired many, and his warm, approachable nature made him a trusted figure in their community. To those who knew him, he was not just a man of God. He was a man of integrity, a devoted husband, and a pillar of strength for those who sought his guidance. Ava, too, was the embodiment of grace and faith. She stood by Bernard's side, devoted to their shared ministry, building their home with love and purpose. To the outside world, their life was the picture of perfection, a beautiful marriage, a respected ministry, and a future that seemed filled with promise. But, as time went on, the image of their idyllic life began to mask something far more complex. Behind closed doors, there were secrets, ones that Ava would only uncover when it was too late to turn back. The storm clouds were beginning to gather over their seemingly perfect union, setting the stage for a revelation that would change everything. Ava Gardner-Shipp was a woman whose life was guided by faith. Raised in a close-knit community, she grew up cherishing the values of loyalty, compassion, and devotion. Her faith became her anchor, shaping her identity and her vision of what a marriage should be, a sacred bond built on trust, honesty, and shared purpose. When she married Bernard L. Shipp, a man of God, she believed she had found her partner in every sense of the word. She embraced her role as a minister's wife with pride, dedicating herself to their community and their shared ministry. To those who knew them, Ava and Bernard seemed like a perfect match. They shared a deep connection, both devoted to their spiritual mission. Ava supported Bernard's work tirelessly, standing by his side as he led their congregation. She believed in the sanctity of their vows, promises made not just to each other but to God, a foundation she thought could never be shaken. But behind Bernard's charismatic sermons and warm smile was a hidden life. Unbeknownst to Ava, he was engaging in relationships outside their marriage. These were not fleeting mistakes. They were deliberate choices he made, concealing the truth from the woman who trusted him completely. For years, he lived two lives, one as the loving husband and respected minister, and another, far removed from the pulpit, in secret relationships that would later bring devastating consequences. Ava had no reason to doubt Bernard. She trusted him implicitly, believing the man she married was the same man he showed to the world. But trust can be fragile, and when shattered, it leaves wounds that never truly heal. Bernard's hidden life was about to surface, and with it, the foundations of Ava's world would begin to crumble. 2 years into their marriage, Ava began to notice changes in Bernard's health. The once energetic and vibrant man she had married was becoming increasingly fatigued. He complained of persistent aches and illnesses, but he always brushed them off as stress from the demands of his ministry. At first, Ava believed him. She trusted him, as she always had, and she did her best to care for him, never imagining there was something far more serious lurking beneath the surface. But Bernard's condition worsened. His weight began to drop, and his once confident demeanor gave way to visible anxiety. It was clear something was terribly wrong. One evening, unable to hide it any longer, Bernard sat Ava down for a conversation that would change her life forever. With trembling hands, Bernard confessed that he had been diagnosed with AIDS. The words hit Ava like a physical blow, leaving her stunned and struggling to comprehend. How could this be possible? Bernard was a man of God, her husband, the man she had vowed to spend her life with. The diagnosis alone was devastating, but the truth behind it would be even harder to accept. Bernard went on to admit that he had contracted the virus through sexual relationships with other men. For years, he had been leading a secret life, engaging in acts that he knew would put both his health and their marriage at risk. He had kept these actions hidden from Ava, living with the knowledge that every day he remained silent, he was betraying her trust in the most profound way. But the betrayal didn't end there. As Ava struggled to process the confession, Bernard admitted to something even more devastating. He had knowingly exposed her to the virus. He revealed that he feared facing his illness alone and wanted to ensure that she, too, would remain by his side, bound to him by the same condition that was slowly taking his life. For Ava, the gravity of this revelation was overwhelming. She had dedicated herself to their marriage, to their shared ministry, and to the man she believed was her partner in faith and love. Now, she was left with a shattered trust, a life-altering diagnosis, and a betrayal so profound that it shook her to her core. Following Bernard's confession, Ava's worst fears began to take shape. Desperate for clarity and answers, she sought medical help. The tests confirmed what she had been dreading. Ava was HIV positive. The news felt like a sentence, a cruel betrayal by the very person she had trusted most in the world. The doctors carefully pieced together the timeline of Ava's infection. All signs pointed back to Bernard's actions, his hidden life, and the choices he had made without her knowledge. The betrayal wasn't just physical. It was a violation of her trust, her health, and her sense of safety. Bernard, the man who had stood at the altar with her and vowed to protect her, had knowingly put her life in danger. For Ava, this wasn't just a medical diagnosis. It was the unraveling of her entire world. She wasn't just fighting a virus. She was grappling with a profound emotional and spiritual crisis. Everything she had believed in, from the sanctity of her marriage to the strength of her faith, felt like it was crumbling beneath her. The emotional fallout was overwhelming. Ava found herself questioning everything. How could the man she loved betray her so deeply? How could she reconcile this betrayal with her faith? And perhaps most painfully, what was her purpose now? The life she had imagined, the dream she had nurtured, seemed to vanish in an instant. As Ava sat in the stillness of her home, the weight of her situation pressed down on her. It wasn't just about survival. It was about finding a way to rebuild, to make sense of the senseless, and to decide what kind of future, if any, she could create from the wreckage of her life. The road ahead for Ava was uncertain, but one thing was clear. She couldn't remain in the shadows of Bernard's decisions. She had to find a way forward, even as the enormity of the betrayal threatened to overwhelm her. As Ava struggled to come to terms with her diagnosis and the crumbling foundation of her life, Bernard made a confession that would leave her reeling. It was a moment of rare honesty, one that revealed the full extent of his betrayal. In a quiet, dimly lit room, Bernard sat across from Ava, his face etched with guilt and fear. His voice was unsteady as he spoke the words that would become the final blow. He had intentionally infected her. He admitted he had known the risks, known the consequences, but in his fear of facing his illness alone, he made a choice that forever bound her to his fate. "I couldn't bear the thought of you leaving me," he said, his words heavy with selfishness and desperation. For Ava, This wasn't just a betrayal of trust. It was an act that shattered the very core of their relationship. Bernard's reasoning, his need to keep her tethered to him in the face of his illness, revealed a level of manipulation and selfishness that Ava could hardly comprehend. The room seemed to close in on her as she processed his words. The man she had vowed to stand by in sickness and in health had used those very vows to justify his actions. His confession was not an apology. It was an explanation, one that left Ava feeling more isolated and betrayed than ever. In 1993, Bernard L. Shipp passed away. His death marked the end of his painful journey but left behind a legacy of betrayal, questions, and devastation. For Ava, his passing was not just the loss of a husband. It was the closing of a chapter filled with unimaginable pain. But instead of seeking vengeance or letting bitterness consume her, Ava made a choice that would redefine her life. As the initial shock of Bernard's death began to fade, Ava found herself at a crossroads. She could retreat into anger and despair, or she could find a way to make her suffering mean something. Ava chose the latter. Rather than succumbing to bitterness, Ava channeled her pain into advocacy. She founded Heaven in View, a ministry dedicated to educating others about HIV/AIDS and breaking the stigma surrounding the disease. Through her work, she offered support to those affected, ensuring they wouldn't face the same isolation and betrayal she had endured. Her ministry didn't just help others, it helped Ava heal. By sharing her experience, she transformed her pain into purpose. Ava's courage to confront her own suffering and use it to inspire change became a beacon of hope for many. Her work reminded others that even in the face of the deepest betrayal, it is possible to rebuild, to find strength, and to move forward. For Ava, Bernard's death was not the end of her story. It was the beginning of a mission to educate, to support, and to ensure that no one else would suffer in silence as she had. Through her ministry, Ava Gardner-Shipp turned her darkest moments into a source of light for others. Ava Gardner-Shipp's life became a testament to resilience and purpose as she turned her personal pain into a mission to break the stigma surrounding HIV/AIDS. Her ministry, Heaven in View, grew into a powerful force of hope and education, reaching countless individuals across faith-based communities where conversations about the virus were often silenced by fear and judgment. Ava understood the challenges of addressing these issues within religious circles. She once said, "Faith doesn't exclude understanding. It compels us to love, to learn, and to support one another, no matter the circumstances." This belief became the cornerstone of her advocacy, as she tirelessly worked to shift narratives and bring compassion to the forefront. Through workshops, public talks, and her unwavering presence, Ava's ministry touched the lives of many. She shared her story as both a cautionary tale and a beacon of hope, teaching that even in the face of profound betrayal, healing and purpose are possible. In 1996, Ava released her book, Jesus Says, HIV is Heaven in View*, a deeply personal account of her journey through betrayal, faith, and resilience. The book offered readers an unflinching look at her experiences while inspiring them to confront their own challenges with courage. In one passage, Ava wrote, "I had every reason to give up, every reason to be angry. But I chose love, not just for others, but for myself. Love doesn't erase pain, but it gives you the strength to endure and to heal." The book became a cornerstone of her advocacy, giving a voice to those who felt silenced and offering a roadmap to strength and understanding. At events and book signings, Ava was met by people who shared how her story had changed their lives. Many approached her with gratitude, saying, "Your story saved my life." Ava's ministry extended beyond helping individuals. It educated entire communities. She worked to dismantle ignorance and fear, teaching that no one should face their struggles alone. Her efforts reminded people that compassion and faith could bring healing, even in the most challenging circumstances. Ava Gardner-Shipp's journey wasn't just about survival. It was about transformation. Through her ministry, her book, and her unwavering commitment, She showed the world that even the deepest wounds can lead to the most profound impact. Ava Gardner-Shipp's story is one that forces us to confront some of life's most difficult questions. How do we forgive the unforgivable? How do we find the strength to rebuild after betrayal so profound it alters every part of our being? These are questions that linger long after the details of her journey are told. Her experience reveals the devastating impact of betrayal, not just on trust but on one's identity and sense of purpose. Ava had to grapple with the reality that the person she loved, the man she trusted most, had knowingly put her life at risk. Yet, instead of succumbing to anger or despair, Ava chose a path of forgiveness, a choice that is as challenging as it is inspiring. Forgiveness, in Ava's case, wasn't about excusing Bernard's actions or erasing the pain he caused. It was about reclaiming her own life and refusing to let his betrayal define her. It was a process of healing, one step at a time, that allowed her to move forward and turn her pain into a source of purpose and advocacy. But Ava's story isn't just about personal betrayal. It's a lens through which we can examine broader societal issues. Bernard's actions and their devastating consequences highlight the critical importance of honesty in relationships. Secrets, deceit, and selfish choices can ripple outward, causing harm that goes far beyond the individual. This case also shines a light on the stigma surrounding HIV/AIDS, particularly within faith-based communities. It reveals how fear, shame, and silence can prevent open dialogue, leaving people isolated and vulnerable. Ava's courage to share her story breaks through these barriers, showing that education and compassion are essential to dismantling stigma and building understanding. Her journey reminds us that betrayal, as painful as it may be, does not have to be the end of the story. Through forgiveness, resilience, and a commitment to helping others, Ava found a way to reclaim her life and create a legacy of hope and transformation. Ultimately, Ava Gardner-Shipp's story isn't just about what happened to her. It's about what she chose to do with it. It challenges us to reflect on our own capacity for forgiveness and to consider how we can turn even the darkest moments into opportunities for light and growth. Ava Gardner-Shipp's story is one of unimaginable pain, but also one of extraordinary strength and transformation. It shows us that even in our darkest moments, there is a path forward. Ava's resilience and courage remind us that while betrayal can break us, it can also serve as the foundation for something greater, a life rebuilt on purpose and compassion. Her journey is a testament to the power of forgiveness, the importance of honesty, and the necessity of breaking the stigma surrounding HIV/AIDS. Ava turned her pain into a mission, helping countless others find hope in the face of their own challenges. What are your thoughts on Ava's story? Do you think forgiveness is possible in such a situation? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Would love to hear your perspective. If you found this story compelling, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We share new true crime stories every week, uncovering the unexpected twists and turns of real-life cases. Join us next time for another story that will leave you thinking long after it's over.